So I'm going to clarify the different templates that I shared with you. The first one we talked about was instrument template. And that's this one here. So if I go over here and I test it, I'll move this in here. It has mouse over and a mouse leave. Mouse over, mouse leave, and mouse down. Is there sound playing? Oh, that's the one with the script. I opened the wrong one. Instrument template, this one. Okay, so we're going to test it. So this is the simplest version. It has the mouse enter, mouse click, and leave. So it's just mouse enter, mouse down, and leave. That's it. What's that? This is the one without the scripts. So if I close this and look at the timeline, you see there's no action scripts. Okay? This is all by putting the effects on the buttons. So if I open one of the buttons, for example C, the different effects and the sounds are on the over, down, and hit states. And all the sounds are in here. So for example, if I go to the down state and I go to properties, I can see here I have the hello sound. So with the simplest version, that's called instrument template. There's no action scripts. It only has mouse enter and a mouse click. That's it. And all the sounds are in the button. And actually the whole project can exist on one frame. The second version that I showed you was instrument with the script. That's this one. When I test this, okay, you can see it has mouse enter, mouse leave, mouse enter, mouse down, and a mouse up. So there are 4 states. The normal state, mouse enter state, mouse down state, and then mouse up state. So this is ideal. If I close this and look at the timeline, you'll see that it's got a layer for actions. So let's look at the actions. Basically, it's got for every instance, remember an instance is a particular place on your timeline for a graphic element. And it can be named. And Animate will automatically name it for you when you do this. Or you can copy and paste them by copying from my script. You can just copy and go to your, let's say that's on the C layer. Click on the graphic on the stage, go to properties, and do you see here, this is the instance name. If this were your project and you want to just copy the code, you would just paste this name button 1 there, because it would come up as untitled. So you can see each one of these has a title for the instance name. Keep in mind that instance name is not the name of the symbol in the library. The other thing to keep a note on is that on every one of these frames that it goes to, there's another action script. So if I go to this action script and look at button 1, okay, this is telling it to go to and play frame 5. Button 2 is going to frame 15. Button 3 is going to 25. So if I look at these, okay, button 1 goes to frame 5, next one goes to 15, next one goes to 25. When you go to this other button, when you click the button and you go to this other frame, and you look at the actions for that frame, so this is frame 14 actions. Well, that's not frame 5. Look at what happens. The playback head goes to frame 5, and it plays all the way to frame 14. So it's playing this. When you get to frame 14, there's a stop. Let's look at actions. Okay, so for when I get to frame 14, notice there's a stop. Now what happens? There's another little script. It's called mouse out handler. That means when I mouse leave off that graphic, it's going to go to frame 1. So you need to add this on every one of those ending frames. Go to frame 1. So we're hovered over a graphic, it goes to frame 5, it automatically plays to 14. When we mouse leave, it goes back to frame 1. And this code that's on each one of these is what sends it back to frame 1. So the playback head, when we play the C key, goes to frame 5. The playback head will play all the way to 14 and stop until you mouse out, and then it goes back to frame 1. If we click the D note, it's going to jump to frame 15, play itself out to frame 24. When we mouse out, it jumps back to frame 1, and so on and so forth on down the line. That's how the keyboard, the instrument with the script works. Now I added another one, and that's instrument with the keyboard script. There's two versions, and let me show you the difference. Instrument script key. Let's test it. Okay, all this works like normal with the mouse. Now I'm going to use the keyboard. I'm going to type the Z, X, C, V, B, N, M, and comma keys. It works with the key, not with the mouse. Okay? So you can play it like a piano. Okay? Now, what is the problem with this particular version is that when you hit a key, it goes to that frame and stays there and doesn't go back. So if I hit the C key, it goes to frame 5, plays to play 14, and stops there. Okay? That's not how we play a piano or an instrument. Usually when you play an instrument, you press the key, and when you let go, the note stops. So that's what the next version is. So if I go to, whoops, I closed it accidentally, instrument script number 2, and I test the movie. Let's see what's happening. Whoops. It's trying to close the document. I'm going to cancel this. Okay, let's go ahead and test it again. Now, let's look at how this one works. Okay, all the mouse actions work the same way, but now the keyboard script works, doesn't work. I have the wrong template open. I need instrument script key 2. Let's try that again. Let's turn the volume down a little bit. Okay, so now notice that when I let go, it only plays that final animation while the key is down. So this version is more correct to how you would normally play an instrument. Okay, so let's look at how this works. Both of these have pretty much identical scripts except for one little thing. So let's look at the action script. So this is all exactly the same as the one with the scripts on the buttons. All this is exactly the same. The only thing that's added is this section, the key codes. And I'm going to copy this out and give it to you separately. So I'm going to copy, and I can go and paste it in a text file, and I'm going to post that also. So don't worry about this. This is all you need to pay attention to. If the key code is 90, which that is the key script for the C key, it's going to go to play 5. If it's 88, you don't need to memorize these. It's all here for you. If it's 88, which represents X, it's going to go to 15. If it's the code for C, it's going to go to 25. It's going to go to 35, 45, which is all the same thing we did earlier. Remember earlier we went to 5, 15, 25, 35, which is the same as what we see in the timeline. 5, 15, 25, 35. Okay? It's all pretty straightforward. You just can copy this and paste it into yours. Okay? The very last thing is this script here, which means if the keyboard is up, so if we let go of the keyboard, it sends it back to frame 1. And that's pretty much it.